J returning. I thought I was over with this series. I thought I was done. Only something truly worthy of saying, c'est quoi ce bordel, would ever have brought me back. Mon Dieu, did I find it. Some time back, I exposed the martial arts kid for the incompetent travesties that it is. I made mentions that one of its cast, Don Wilson, had a history with Roger Corman, who was a legend for firing out cinematic turds with the consistency of a machine gun. Wilson and Corman together are responsible for 11 of them. I managed to find one that is hailed by some as the best of the bunch. Let us see how it holds up. I present Roger Corman's Black Belt. We are off to a bad start already. The vast majority of people are not going to have any idea who those people are. This is the early 90s. There is no Google. You will not be able to look them up and put a face to a name. Having the greatest martial arts cast ever assembled is absolutely futile when 90% of your audience cannot identify them. Martial Arts Kid did the exact same thing. There was an abundance of real martial artists that had no purpose in the film. They could have all been cut out and it would have changed absolutely nothing. But at least we knew who they were. Also, just because these champions are really good at kicking people in the face in real life does not mean that they can act or stunt fight. Those are two completely different things. This is a cheap gimmick for a niche audience. I'm reminded of another film from over a decade ago, whose only marketing strategy was it starred real Navy SEALs. It came and went and was quickly forgotten, and poorly reviewed as well. For that brief flash in Japan where it had any relevance, a lot of people's responses to its trailer was, oh, starring real Navy SEALs is another way of saying starring bad actors. No amount of authenticity can save you when you have a shitty foundation to begin with. Putting an elite martial artist in a film does not justify them being an actor any more than putting an Oscar-winning actor in a kickboxing ring justifies them getting into a full contact fight. So, with all these champions comprising half the cast, I expect the film to open in a kickboxing gym. Or it opens on boring shots of static cityscapes. Damn, when I said the opening of Martial Arts Kid was directed by Roger Corman, I was joking. Turns out I was spot on. And here I thought Don Wilson would have improved his films overall this time. I gave him too much credit. He's been doing the exact same thing to this very day. Oh my. The cover also claimed this was the sexiest kickboxing film ever made. No kickboxing so far, but it does win title for sexiest because I don't know of any other kickboxing films that has sex in it. So he leaves her to go next door, to a room filled with men. Well, this was the early 90s. Maybe he was using her as a cover to have the fun he actually wanted to have.
Raphael Zolan?
Yeah?
Son of a bitch!
Right at the start, the film was already coming apart at the seams. Not only was that kick horribly telegraphed, but that man had a security detail. Why was he answering the door himself? Although there was some impressive hang time on that kick. How many seconds was he in the air? Nice fuck up there, editor.
Get him!
As much as I have no issue with watching a woman strip, she is right next door. How could she not hear all of that? How could the entire floor not be hearing all of that? I assume that those men are all dead, and there isn't a drop of blood to be found. What a tidy killer. Looks like his fingerprints and DNA are going to be all over the place. This is supposed to be a kickboxing film, but that was not kickboxing. That was assassination. Kickboxing is a sport with rules in sanctioned arenas. An actual kickboxing film would revolve around that, not whatever this is. You'd be better off watching the actual film Kickboxer. No, wait, that's Muay Thai. Alright, then watch Kickboxer too. No, that's Muay Thai as well. Ah, screw it. Just go watch Best of the Best. It's the only one that got the premise right. I would also like to note that the French release of this film actually titled it Kickboxer Cop, and he ends up buying neither of those things. So without even must hair, our killer returns with some action of a different kind. I should say that lingering next door to where he killed 4 people is a really bad idea.
You wanna play a game?
Lover, for another $100, we can do anything you want.
Oh, she's so going to regret that.
Hey. Well, hello, Mama. Man, how's my sweetest thing?
I'm scared, Ball.
Hello. Now be sweet, right? Sweet thing.
So what is the premise of this film? Kickboxer prostitutes? No kink shame here.
Hey, where do you think you're going?
Mama, you cost me money, right? Look, you said you'd do this for me. Now you gotta do it!
I can't, Ball.
Ah, and finally here is Dawn.
Luann, your mother sent me. She wants you to come home.
Her mother wants her to come home? Is she planning to hire her? Ew! So one thing consistent about all of Don Wilson's acting performances is that they are always consistent. As in one note.
You're not. Your family and family works together.
Ironic, since he of all people said this.
A martial art actor must learn all the accents as well as proper delivery of dialogue.
He actually botched saying proper delivery of dialogue. He's acting horribly while horribly acting.
I'm gonna send you both back home to Mama. Like that.
The broken nose is for the girl. The vasectomy's free.
Okay, that was a good line. Next, we come to a nightclub with bad girls. This is not a kickboxing movie. This is tripling down on being a prostitution film. Casting kickboxers, of which we've seen exactly one, does not make this a kickboxing movie. If I were to cast Olympic wrestlers in a romantic comedy, it would not make it a wrestling film. Here comes our killer, and what is happening? Is that woman leaping ahead 20 years in time and rapidly back again?
I'm from the Times.
The
box.
I'm a fan too.
That does not answer the question. There could be a shotgun in there for all we know. Wouldn't be the first time a fan has actually killed the person they're a fan of. I can safely say also the security in this film is absolutely worthless. Leaving a calling card with your fingerprints on it. He must want to get caught.
You were fantastic. They loved you. No, really? Really? You know, after all this time, it still makes me really hot to feel a crowd like that, you know?
Feel a whole crowd? I've never known a prostitute to sell in bulk before.
What's that? Some punk's idea of good taste in greeting cards?
I've known of disenchanted fans giving their idols a finger, but that's a new one. So finally we see the inside of a martial arts gym.
Okay, class break. Sit down for sparring.
Sit down for sparring? You're not doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. You do not spar on your butts.
Any stance? Whoa!
And that's it. That is the only type of actual training we see in this entire kickboxing film. Quarter met?
Lieutenant Sturgis recommended you to us.
Yeah, we used to be partners.
So he said. You know the Wall Berlin?
Yeah, it's a yuppie club on the west side.
It's the place for hot new rock acts to appear. Shauna started there last night.
Congratulations.
After the show, there was a box in the dressing room. There was a woman's finger in the box with the ring still on it.
What did Sturgis think?
It was just some wacko showing his love or something.
If the police are on this case, what do you need me for?
Protection.
Look, I'm not a bodyguard.
He's not a bodyguard? Then is he a sug? I mean, we saw him beat up that pimp earlier, so was he just doing that for pleasure?
Shauna doesn't like cops.
I used to be a cop.
Yeah, but you quit. Why?
I had my reasons.
And he never reveals what they are. This entire exchange is absolutely pointless.
What do you have against cops?
My father was a cop.
So was mine.
Your father raped you?
Her father raped her. So that is a major character detail, and one that is never brought up again, and has no impact on the story whatsoever. So her phobia about cops has no purpose, because she's around them many times during the film and handles herself just fine, making her even coming here to begin with completely without purpose. What idiot wrote this? Oh, it's the same idiot who wrote this. I see he did not learn his lesson. That glossed over detail is forgotten by a call from the very guy who recommended him to that girl, who wants him to check out the murder scene from the beginning of the film.
Listen, I need a favor.
Shoot.
I got a multiple homicide at the Rand Inn, 6 stiffs in one room.
They were all beaten to death.
I'd like you to come over and take a look.
If he's not a cop anymore, why is that any of his concern? That's a job for forensics. So off he goes to the scene, and I said that $100 would not be worth it. So Shauna shows up by some righteous contrivance and...
My God!
Look at me. You're going to be okay. Come on.
That's it? She's supposed to just be better after that? I'll have to remember that when I find someone who has a broken leg. Hey, you're okay. Now walk it off.
How'd you know we were at the hotel?
The radio. They were screaming about this murdered woman and a queen of spades left on the body. I just wanted to see it for myself.
You did.
Even if he had said that line with any shred of believability, that still would not make any sense.
So,
I knew she was a hooker. This must be how she plans to pay him. Tit for more tit.
Thought you'd like to know. We ID'd those 5 stiffs at the hotel.
Wait a minute. When he called earlier, he said there were 6 dead people at the hotel. Now he's saying there are 5. Did one of them magically get better? And off Don goes to track the killer. Right to a bar with a giant queen of spades. It would have been wise for the killer not to use a calling card that wasn't so easily traceable.
Have you seen anybody in here lately with one of these?
We don't give out information about our friends here. Especially to foreign-looking creeps like you.
And now needless racism. I suspect a bar fight is coming any moment. And I do say bar fight, not kickboxing. There's a big difference. I have to wonder if any of these assailants are those kickboxing champions listed at the start. Not that anyone could tell. Any common stuntman could do what they're doing. This is basic stuff. Which concludes with our killer departing during this scrap and leaving behind definitive proof that Don is on the right track. He is his own worst enemy. There's our hapless heroine with a cop escort. She's not affected by it in the slightest. I told you her phobia was absolutely pointless. And now we're introduced to obvious bad guy number 2. Trust me, it's evident right at the start. One villain is enough. This plot makes enough senseless leaps without further complicating it.
They're going to catch this scum. This finger business is terrible. Now look, if you need anything at all, you just let Eddie know.
yeah, okay, Eddie, sure. Jack Dillon, Eddie D'Angelo, my backer.
Mr. D'Angelo and I have met 5 years ago, wasn't it, Eddie?
Yeah, a long time ago.
A big money laundering bust.
Yeah, right. Misunderstanding, as I recall. Charges were brought, charges were dropped. Huh? Water under the bridge, yeah? C'est la vie.
And now comes a dance number. If that can be called dancing. Or they just have to take up space?
Amazing, isn't she?
Yes, she is.
You in love with her yet? It's nothing to be ashamed of. It happens to every guy who gets near her. I bought this stuff with my body and with my voice. He doesn't own me, and neither do you.
That's right. The blonde girl does. She's obviously her pimp. So sleazy manager goes to bad guy number 2, who apparently can't do anything alone. Does he have to have a goon squad in the bathroom while he's taking a shit as well? I really hate that trope, where the villain is having dinner while conducting his dirty business. It's meant to portray him as cold and dismissive, so the audience will hate him more. But what it does, it reeks of trying too hard. You're not making me hate him, you're making me hate the movie.
I can convince her, Eddie.
I hope so, Bobby. I hope so. For both our sakes. That bitch isn't gonna sign. Call Jeremy. Tell him to set a hit.
Just the woman?
No. No, I want Dylan, too.
It's very hard to take him seriously when he's making evil plans while making those sounds. So bad guy number 2 sends goons to knock off Shanna, like the petty baby that he is. By some coincidence, there's bad guy number 1. Hello, needless complication. And of course, here's Don showing up right at the right time. Bad guy number 2 orders his goons not to use guns, so it will be assumed that bad guy number 1 actually killed Shanna. But now I see the real reason. So Don would actually stand a chance against them. As they had come with guns, Don and bad guy number 1 would both be dead, and the film would have been much, much shorter. Damn, I wish I had used guns.
Call the police.
Which she does without protest, and now they're all over her house and she does not mind. This is why you revise screenplays before filming them. You could have cut that entire I hate cops exchange out of this film.
I've got to go.
The director finally realized that he cannot act and fired him. So those two resume tracking down bad guy number 1.
Who the hell are you? Get out of my office now or I'll call the police.
I am the police.
Then I'll call my lawyer.
We don't have time for that. We want sweet.
And I now see why Don is not a cop any longer. When a guy says he's calling his lawyer, you don't stop him. That's illegal. So is that. That is willful destruction of property. They've gone from a civil lawsuit to criminal charges. These two are as dirty as it comes. Shanna was right. Back we go to bad guy number 1. Also now it seems there are actually no good guys in this film at all. And we discover that he was fucking his own mother. And he's been killing women in the same manner in which she died ever since. That is the most disgusting thing I have ever heard. The writer of this film is worse than an idiot. He's absolutely sick. Back we go to bad guys 3 and 4. They are no longer good guys. Breaking and entering and false imprisonment. Add assault on top of that, since Don had no legal right to be in there once that guy attacked him. Hell, you could have shot Don dead if it had the legal right. Donny Boy must have quit the force in lieu of being fired. So they managed to locate bad guy number 1 and bust him without a warrant. Bad guy number 4 totally deserves what he gets here. Yes, you should take his badge. He was going to get it taken away from him anyway once the chief found out what he was doing. Hey, you're okay. Just say that to yourself and get back up, hypocrite.
What's wrong? Hey.
I got Will Sturgis killed this afternoon.
Who did it?
Sweet.
Is there anything I could do?
Absolutely, but I'd have to pay you for it. God damn it, not this again. Once was bad enough.
Fuck my ass.
Fuck his ass? The prostitution in this film really knows no bounds. I wouldn't have pegged that guy for one. Although it sounds like bad guy number 2 wants that guy to peg him.
You stupid son of a bitch. I want her dead before 10 o'clock tonight. You capiche?
It'll be capiche when you stop spitting chunks of steak in his face. This cliché caricature has only 2 modes. Far too calm and collected, and ridiculously over the top. Acting lessons, monsieur. You need them.
Now, you call me as soon as it's done. Okay?
stop trying to sound menacing when you're chewing. You sound ridiculous. We resume with Shauna's pimp, who I forgot was even in the film.
What do you want?
Why did bad guy number 1 even take that guy's badge if that's all he was going to use it for? It didn't fool anyone. Bad guy number 2's goons make a hit on bad guy number 3 and Shauna, resulting in a cliche 90s car flip. They survive totally unharmed, which I'll chalk out the plot armor. What I won't let slide is that the two of them come out from behind the car in plain sight of the goons, and the goons don't see them. So we're looking right at them. I suppose it was an excuse to blow something up. That was something that actually hadn't happened yet in this schlocky action flick.
Shit, there they are! Go! Go! Let's go!
Now they run from adequate cover out of their field of vision, and this time they're spotted? I suppose they couldn't be allowed to escape that easily. Cues a Conan-style battle where two stand against many and inexplicably win. Also, Conan's was much better. Here comes Dawn to settle Bad Guy 2's plot arc. That kid clearly missed that guy completely, as there was still a loud hitting sound. Well done, Foley Man. Is that shithead capable of doing anything while not behind a tiny dinner table?
Frank Ellis. You fight well.
You were a great champion. I saw you fight in New York City once.
What's this? Is this one of those kickboxers that was in the credits? Is the only one that actually gets identified? It's not a good idea to take your shirt off when your body is absolutely average. Is this supposed to be the kickboxing that's the film advertised? This is the slowest moving duel I've ever seen. Not to mention this still isn't kickboxing. That is not allowed in a sport match. Not that this ever was to begin with. So batting zero kickboxing in this kickboxing film. Oh, not this too. Another damn cliche was a yuppie coward who can't fight, pulls a gun while his goon gets his ass kicked. This isn't even the only Don Wilson film where this exact sequence of events played out. Don Wilson cannot act at all. Bad guy number 2 ridiculously overacts. But this guy actually underacted. He just got shot and gave it look like someone stepped on his foot.
You already made one mistake tonight, Eddie. Don't make another. Second mistake.
I really hope that line was ad-libbed, because that was terrible.
We shouldn't be here.
This is home. I need to be home right now.
Where you need to be is what bad guy number 1 cannot find you. Or did you forget he's actually still in this film? I almost did. We are barely over the hour mark in the runtime now, and now I think I understand their logic. You have concluded bad guy number 2's plot arc, and they needed to slap another B-plot just to pad the film out to minimum runtime. And a sex scene, purely to fill time. Not that there's any purpose to it. I have nothing against sexual content, but I'm against anything that doesn't have a point.
Shauna? Shauna?
Oh, you broke his nose!
He was trying to break mine.
What are you trying to do, kill him? That's what you like to do, isn't it? Kill people?
Wow. So Shauna's bad guy number 5. She fucks Don without hesitation, her boyfriend shows up, attacks Don, and she's taking his side? What an absolute cunt! There are no good guys in this film at all. Or it was another lazy contrivance to get him out of the house so bad guy number 1 would show up unopposed. This is pathetic. What shoddy construction. He did not have to kidnap Shauna to get her to do that. If he had paid her enough, she would have done it willingly. And would not have had to split it with a pimp, considering he's already dead. So the hero enters a martial arts gym alone to find it packed with enemies. I would have accused him of ripping off Bruce Lee, but this actually happened in Martial Arts Kid. It's official. Don Wilson was ripping off his own film.
Do it once! Show it!
What's the point of having 20 guys there to attack the hero if you only do it one at a time? If someone was throwing an immensely slow tornado kick at me, the last thing I would do was wait for it to connect. Does that guy look familiar? Was he one of those kickboxing champions who got thrown into the mix with no recognition? If so, what was the point of casting him? He was no different than any other mook. That guy had some knowledge of how to kick. Should I assume he's one of the champions as well? To have 5 seconds of screen time and absolutely no recognition?
They wouldn't stop you. If you want her, take her.
Just make sure to pay her afterwards. It's not a good idea for our supposed hero to rip his shirt off his unimpressive body when his adversary is such a hulking Adonis. It severely diminishes him. That guy is a walking wall. You think those little dinky sabat kicks are going to do anything? Oh, great ideas there, stupid. Distract him while his enemy is coming at him with a deadly weapon. That could not be in a more suggestive place. Hey, where'd it go? Why did he take that guy's badge? He never used it for anything.
It's over. You can go home now.
I don't have a home now.
Yes, you do. Your house is still standing. It just has a giant hole in one of the walls. And now that her original boy toy is dead, she jumps right to Donny Boy. What a whore. But we knew that already. So how is this insult to cinema going to end?
I don't know, Dylan.
I don't know either. Let's get out of here.
I'm pretty certain that was not scripted. That was really the actors being honest. Was that it's over? Yet another thing stolen from Martial Arts Kid. It just starts the scene abruptly with no proper conclusion. When I said before you've seen one Don Wilson film, you've seen them all, I didn't mean it that literally. So after all that, the question is begged. Which of the two is worse? As horrendous as Black Belt is, Martial Arts Kid still beats it out the worst. For one reason. Black Belt was made by Roger Corman. This is typical of him. It's standard fare. He knows what it is and does not try to be anything more. It was made solely to make a buck. Martial Arts Kid is pompously incompetent and tries far too hard to be important. It has a feel-good message with a sense of delusional wholesomeness and a reality that could never possibly exist. While Black Belt was made for adults, Martial Arts Kid was made for babies. It's the kind of babies who take personal offense to those of us that actually have brains and sees that failure for what it is, and then throw tantrums because they liked it, and they have no other defense beyond that. It was thankfully rare of you in that incredibly stupid camp. Stick to watching Teletubbies. It's more befitting of your maturity. I will continue to shit on Martial Arts Kid because they used my money to fund its production. I gave money to it. I was an investor. And what I got back was an absolute betrayal. It was the first time I've ever flushed money down the toilet and actually got a turd in return. This will be the last Don Wilson film that I'm ever going to look at. Because now that I have seen one, I have truly seen them all. So how should I conclude this? I don't know. I'm gonna get out of here.